that have been trained by me, Cristian Pascalio and Dan Panayotescu over there. During this week, we have worked really hard to get the projects higher up on the animation ladder. And today you will listen to these 4 pitches. They're very nervous, so be gentle. The pitch format is like this. They have 5 minutes to pitch, and then they have 10 minutes for Q&A. So after their pitch, you can ask them questions. So please ask them questions, because if not, they will feel like they did something wrong. And they're very nice, and their projects are very good. So also, we have the jury members, because there is an award for this pitch. So I'm going to present the jury members. First is Matei Frana. Olga Pel. Pink Pel. And last but not least, Josko Ruta. Josko Animation Forum, and I would like to invite him to tell us a few words about the CE Animation Forum.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Mikhail and Helga, for having me here. First, what is CE? It's this small logo there on the left. It's an umbrella institution which covers and tries to develop the sector of animation on the territory of Central and Eastern Europe. It covers the states from Estonia on the north to Greece on the south, and let's say Georgia on the east, and whatever is between. How the idea starts? First, it was so-called Visegrad Animation Forum, where 5 countries joined their forces, 5 national associations from Poland, Czech, Slovakia, Hungary, and Slovenia, and they started to organize a forum which was a pitching event for the animation films from, let's say, this part of the world. Our ambition is not to be another cartoon movie or cartoon forum. Our ambition is to be addition to cartoon forum and cartoon movie, because we found out through years that, let's say, most of these countries proclaimed independence in the last 20 years, and the development of animated sector was, because of the lack of the money, was very low, and we found out that now maybe it's the proper moment to push this with some organized action on the other level. We found out when we do a benchmark that we have a lot of tradition, we have a lot of talent, but maybe we are not institutionally strong, and we are not so financially strong. And of course, we only the path how to do it is to create more cooperation, to create co-productions, to create events where the people will meet and try to search for the synergies and cooperate. So that was the idea, and then the forum was established. The forum is every year happening in Czech Republic. Till now it was happening in Trebon, in Bohemia, south of Czech Republic, in May, and it's a pitching event where we invite, let's say, around 30 projects, different genres, and also different types. So we present projects, short animation projects, series, and now for 2 years also feature animations. And for the next year, the plan is to include also virtual reality projects into the presentation. We invite between more than 200 guests from all around the world, and of course we organize the meetings between the authors, producers, and of course the financiers, the broadcasters, and so on. This event, like CE Animation Forum, is accompanied with another initiative, which is a sort of sub-initiative, and it's running now for a couple of years, and it's called CE Talents. CE Talents is a selection of around 10 short films from the students of animation academies from our region, and we made a selection, and we make a package of these films and try to send and spread these films to all the interested festivals to promote, let's say, the young upcoming talents. For example, 2 years ago we had a pitch in Trebon for the Czech animation film and by Daria Kacheva, and she won, like a couple of weeks ago, she won for that animation film the Student Oscar Award for Best Short Animated Film. So these are a sort of our results, and we hope that we will have them more, you know. When we do statistics, we also find out that the presence of animation with the establishment of our initiative is also in Cartoon Forum and on other special events we raise the presence of animators. One activity which we also do is that now for 2 years we made a strategic partnership with NIFA, which is the biggest market for animation in Annecy, and we are officially, as a region, guests of the stand of Creative Europe, which means that we provide to about 60 professionals from the region almost free accreditations for NIFA, which are usually quite expensive. So we made a selection, and we promote the region as a common region, you know, and so on. And last but not least, we found out 2 years ago we organized in Ljubljana so-called first pilot edition of CE Animation Workshop, which was a workshop for producers of animation. And there, on that workshop, it was, I think, about 27 or 28 producers from all the region, and they came and discussed 3 days how to grow. And the result was that we created a training program for the producers of animation from Central and Eastern Europe. It's called CE Animation Workshop. It's one of the rare animation trainings, and it's created like a complete development program for the animation projects. It's supported by Creative Europe Media. Last year we made the first edition. We select every year 12 projects from the region, from the low production capacity countries, let's say, and we are not focusing just on one forum, so we select mixed short films, series, feature films, of course animated, and we organize later on like 3 modules of 1 week where we bring these people together with the group leaders, with the specialized script consultants, with the experts from all, which cover all the field of what should producer of animation know. Either are these business matters, legal matters, concept design, marketing, sales, festival strategies, and of course a strong also script and project development. Now we just published the second year of the selection. We start with the training in Ljubljana in December on the festival, which is taking place parallel to the Anim'est festival. The second module this year will be in Tallinn, in Estonia, and the third module is connected with our forum, about which I explained previously, which is in Czech Republic. So we try to work some initiatives, bring more people, network them, and so on. So these are, and we have another activities which is called Red Bricks activity. It's not a visible activity, let's say. It's an activity of very strategic and long-term work. And what's going on? We found out that, let's say, film financing bodies and also broadcasters from our region, most of them, they have focus in live action and documentaries. And they don't have a clue, neither of principles how to make animation, neither of anything. So what we do is to try to put them on a table, to explain them the specific of these sectors and the production, the needs of this sector and the production. Sometimes there are basic stupidities which we must clear, you know, like they have in their rules that you must finish the project in 2 years after the financing, and we know that in animation this is not the case. To raise maybe the percentage of the money they will distribute animation from their funding bodies, the knowledge, so it's very, let's say, political, educational on the other way, function, which of course you must run all the time, you must explain all the time, because the people who run these bodies, they are not very much expert in animation, so we need to teach them the fundings. These are our, let's say, initiatives. Of course, we promote the animation of the region on every location. We are present on all the biggest festivals, markets, either from animation, either from film, like Cannes, Berlin, Annecy, and so on. And we create like a network of our ambassadors also. That's ideas and work, ideas, and of course fields to work on are many, you know, especially through the promotions, through the distribution. Of course, there are all the possibilities. So we will not intervene into production, but more on into development, as I said, presentation, promotion, distribution, where we can support and not intervene into the creative part of the animator's process. This is on short. And of course, if you have any other extra questions, I will be around, and just come and ask. Thanks.
Okay. So now we're going to start the pitching. After the pitch, do not leave. There is a case study with Diana Hentulescu, Mugda Production. You will see how they finance or didn't finance a short film. And it's very important to support animation and to support each other. So without further ado, I would like to introduce the first project, Glance Up, The Devil Blessed. Guys, good luck. And
Hello, I'm Aarc.ro. That we would have double blessed. You will see why double blessed a bit further. I'm an animation director, and we work together at Skeptic Dog Animation, which I founded 5 years ago, and since then we've been working on mostly commercial animation, 2D frame by frame, and now we're working on Glenda the Double Blessed. And of course the team, which they are here, and we have a team of animators already, and we're really proud of that. And yes, Bogdan, please.
I'm Bogdan. I studied with Andra back in university, and for the last year we've been working together in Skeptic Dog. I am writing for animation, and during this time we developed this short project. The story is about Glenda, who is a powerful warrior princess, which has to take arms against her own father. What this father has done, he is a very powerful wizard, and he wants to take all life from the world and use it for his own gain. First time, when they clash, the wizard curses and throws Glenda all the way to the edge of the world. What happens there, in a deep dark cave? In a deep dark cave, she will meet a devil who's been a prisoner there for a very long time. He's evil, he's weak. He's weak, and she decides to help him. In return, the devil will help her lift the curse that is plaguing her body and give her the physical strength that she requires in order to defeat her father. When she goes back, she finds out that this will not be done because her father is very strong and she would have to make a very difficult choice. She must find the willpower that she needs in order to kill her own father and save life from the whole planet. Where we're taking inspiration for this, it's like from Eastern European fairy tales. We wanted to make it a dark fantasy. This has also inspired our visual style, which we want to make it weird in a disturbing way, and we want to put the audience in this particular state of mind.
The visual style is also inspired by old fairy tale books, and it's also a bit weird and uncanny, and we want the visual style to make you curious and also make you feel a bit disturbed. And the most important for us in the story is to show a really defined difference between good and evil, and that's why we chose this fairy tale type of story. And what if that evil is in your own family? What do? Do you just leave it there and close your eyes and not do nothing? Maybe you also have something in our families, I don't know. But we went to an extreme, and it's really important to fight evil, even if it's your dad, and to restore greater good and balance in the world. We are looking for a producer and for developing our film further, and now we're in the script developing stage, so we're writing the script and probably will need more rewrites after this. And we're looking for a producer to help us also find maybe the perfect target audience. Now we're imagining the 15-year-old that plays different kind of games, role-playing games, and watches horror movies, and would maybe also enjoy this kind of weird animation. I hope you liked our project, and really want to make it, and after the animation is done, to really distribute it well and have the complete life of a short animated film. Thank you.
This tells how long you see the movie running.
Like the length of the film?
Yeah.
We imagine it that is around 10 to 15 minutes.
Yes, we're still writing the script, and we not sure. If we put it, it might be too obvious. And if we take it out, some things don't get understood easily. So that's why it's a big difference. But we're aiming for 10, so we can produce it, because 10 minutes will be easier for us to actually make in the next 1 year and a half.
Dialogue or voiceover?
At this moment in the script there is no dialogue.
We will focus on sound design, music, and make the sounds help the characters come alive.
Yeah, and you start the whole movie.
Yeah.
We had some dialogue at front, but at this point no.
I mean,
If you
there
don't
will be
have
voices.
dialogue, how you can explain in so short time, this is difficult, that this is totally, this want to do this and then want to do how is this?
We hope to show it through the images. Also, the relation of Glenda with her father, they will somehow look alike, but also have some differences. And it might seem like a complex story, but we just want to show the feeling of it and show the battle, and we will focus on Glenda, the main character. And we hope it will be enough, but of course there would be a bit of voices if we think about it, because the characters would have sounds, but not.
Yeah, how we imagine showing that, okay, this wizard is her father. We want to have like similar features, like they would look alike. Like, can we go back to the slide? We imagine having these ears, like this type of round ears, and probably they will have distinctive signs on their clothing. And also we want to introduce in the script, in the film, a sequence that would make it like more obvious that about their relationship of the three characters. Like,
Yes. And also, Glenda having been cursed at first by her father, we can see on her skin how the curse is working and how she becomes weak and then powerful again, because she will be somehow reborn.
yeah, what the
We
curse,
hope it's
Show the picture of Brenda.
what the
So this
curse.
is connected to this red picture.
yes.
So how it works? So this red is coming to her bone.
Yes, this is coming to her body and it's crumbling like stone. So we will have a sequence in when she saves the devil and she takes it in her arms and she runs out of the cave, and when she comes out the arms will then fall down. And what happens then? The devil will, by helping her, will burn her whole body and then take the bones and put it in a vat of milk, and she would become reborn and invulnerable to the wizard's spells. Immune to his further spells. So this is how she becomes more powerful.
And we hope it will be okay without
What animation technique you will use? You didn't mention.
it would be the technique we're best at, and with 2D frame by frame, so it's more traditional style.
Do you frame?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's obviously
Yes.
you frame.
Yes.
So do you think that you will keep this style of background so you will keep like
Yes.
For the mood, the colors, but we want to make sure that the characters fit the backgrounds. Right now, the characters are still black and white, and the backgrounds are colored and have with style brushes, and we played a bit with them.
What is important for us is like the color to be striking and to give you that this unsettling mood. This is why we choose to use red and green and black and to have this like what's happening there. We do not know exactly if it's like what is it, day, it's night, it's twilight. To have this.
But the answer would be that we will have some more transformations, but this is the direction. With this.
If you want, maybe you already about the budget.
Not quite. I mean, we don't have the budget written, but we've made other animations, 3-4 minute short animations. We can adapt the budget from there to what it could mean to make a 10-minute one.
At this point, we didn't thought about budgeting this film, but we have enough experience with other animation in order to do a proper budget for this animation.
And it's quite a new project.
And you will kind of made a sketch how long it will take you to, let's say, you can start tomorrow, yeah, without the screen.
Yes, yes. Well, I'm thinking about 1 year and a half, maximum 2 years, because we also want to develop it more, be really thorough with the animation and make it really smooth, and we also want to experiment with some parts of the animation. Maybe it will not be all projected, maybe it will also be like exhibition events somehow with parts of the animation put in augmented reality or something like that. But yeah, I think 1 year of production without pre-production. 1 year of production would be okay.
We already have a team. All done.
What about storyboard?
The storyboard is in the making, so we have the script. The storyboard is
So it's not yet.
it's not yet ready.
And about music, you have a concrete music or style in mind or not yet?
We have some friends that make music, that have a band, and they're some kind of post-rock alternative style, and we might work with them. We are in discussions and we're negotiating and telling them, oh, this is the story, what do you imagine? And we hope to get along.
Do you think it will be quite a lot of music or just?
Ambiental music, so it could be a bit music, but not with too many instruments all at the same time.
Like
Like minimal.
Your rational quantity of music in... I don't know.
Yeah, of course, right?
I don't know.
You are in development.
It is, yeah, we are early development, and
Yes.
if we feel that it will require music, yeah. It is important to have something like music to set the mood and everything, to tell the
It's
story.
important to be original.
Yeah, but this will come a little bit later.
And these are the only 3 characters we have. I mean, or there will be some little.
No, only these 3 characters, and
At the same time, we're talking about work.
About the world.
Same work.
Yes.
but
Yeah, we will have. So
you
these
mean
are
about
the
main
three
characters?
characters,
Yeah,
but we
yeah.
also have for the people in the city, which will be really diverse.
Small and red, bigger.
Yes, and we want to make the diversity of the people, so how they look like. Maybe some of them will have like 3 eyes and.
because it's a fantastic world.
Yes.
So he had
You have 2 more minutes. I would like to go back to the story. I understand that the fairy tales don't make a lot of sense often, and not everything is explained. But I feel nowadays the trend that would like to the story makes sense and the characters make sense, and I would like to know how the father influences, how the fact that the villain is the father influences the story. Because I feel if you take out the fact that he's a father and the princess warrior who still get cursed should still fight him for the greater good.
Why we decided to be the father is to have another layer of, because if it's not the father, it's just a simple bad versus good versus evil story, and she will not have a lot of internal conflict. That's the bad guy, I'm going to kill him. But by making him her father, she will have a lot more internal conflict, making her choice harder. This is what we want. I want to make the character, like not giving her an easy choice out.
How do you want to show that?
Very good question.
Usually the questions that are very good are hard to answer. Well, it's also in how, in the small gestures, and like how she prepares for the last battle, where she's a bit, she's still unsecure, but in the battle, she doesn't want to kill, but defeat the wizard, like, taking his power, but
Like during the whole arc, we will see references to her father and how she feels about him after she gets treated by the devil, she will see a picture of the devil with her father, and she has a small baby, and she will have how yes, yes.
The devil and the wizard were friends when they were younger. That's what you
Yes.
wanted to say.
Yeah.
There's no baby there.
No.
What? I know it's small.
Yes. And this is how she will have like, a lot of internal thoughts of like, okay, how do I do this? When they will fight, it will not be a straight fight. She will try to convince him like to go around him or something. No, but this is like killing him is the last resort for her.
So we need to think about if we could work tomorrow.
No, we're not.
Because the question was really good.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Next project is the art of losing your teeth with Horia Cucuta and George.
So I'm here to talk to you about the art of losing your teeth. But first of all, I'm Horia Cucuta. I'm an indie filmmaker based here in Bucharest, and I have been doing short films, music videos, and a bit of animation. And for this project, I'm co-director and producer. I'm part of MC2 Square Film, which is an indie film collective based, funded. It was made in 2014 by 4 friends, and we have been doing since then a lot of short films, more than 10. We've been doing also music videos and a bit of animation. So why am I here? We want to do stop motion animation. And its flavor is going to be a bit of comedy and with a pinch of horror. So what is it our story about? The Art of Losing Your Teeth is the story of a 6-year-old who's quite inventive, and he realized that he can make more money out of the tooth fairy by stealing people's teeth. So I think it's the time for us to dig deeper into our story. So let's go back. We have Josh, a 6-year-old who lives with his mom and his sister, and one day he finds out that for each tooth he receives $5 from the tooth fairy. That's quite a lucrative business if you think about it, because in your mouth you have a full bite. So our Josh has to think of a plan. So he thinks of getting a hammer and taking all his teeth out. But that's not so lucrative. So he remembers that he has a younger sister. So he goes and puts that plan into action, but somebody stops him. His mom. And she's quite appalled of that. So they go to the local church, and our Josh also receives a bit of penitence. And while he's cleaning the local graveyard of the church, he's enlightened with an idea. So that evening, our Josh goes and digs deeper for some teeth. And he hopes that the next day he's going to get rich and he's going to have that bike. But our loving tooth fairy just leaves the same thank you note and no money. So our Josh is disappointed and goes back to his routine, goes to the bathroom, and he wants to clean up his teeth and toothbrush. And then he finds out that the loving tooth fairy left him something else in his mouth. If somebody didn't get it, it's the dead man's teeth. So that is our story. And how do we want to make it and make it look? We want to convey a very grim and a bit dark style, because our first layer is horror. And above it we will have the comedy, which will be driven by the action of the characters and the narrator. So where are we right now? We are in pre-production. The script is already written. And we assembled the team, and we're working on storyboards. And as a producer, our optimistic plan is that by the end of the month, we're going to finish this phase, the storyboards, and we'll have all the specs for our art department, that we hope that with the beginning of November, they will go in producing the sets and the characters. And also optimistically, we hope that at the beginning of next year we can push into filming it. So why am I here? We are looking for financing. We are self-financing this movie, so we're going to make it somehow. But extra financing always helps because you can rent a better camera, better lighting, and we can stay on that optimistic plan of finishing it by time. So, thank you for your time.
Same question. How long?
3 minutes. The script is, that's the aim. So the script is around 3 pages and a half. Right now we're working on the shooting board, and because we're self-financing, we're seeing what we can cut so we can really make it and make it attractive also to the audience. We think that 3 minutes is the perfect time length for this story because it's quite short and it's catchy, and we have that punch at the end that would work perfectly.
No, we watched that with 7. No, it's too short. 3, it's too short for yeah.
To tell so many sub-stories in 3 minutes is impossible.
You have good ideas, they're really unexpected, like the graveyard, so that's to present that. You will, even if you want to make it fast and funny,
Yes, snappy.
still.
Our last project was a short movie, and we're still in that mindset, so everybody's told us that will look like a trailer because it was a 2-minute movie and everything was fast, and probably we're still in the same mindset of editing. So that's why we came up with 3 minutes, because we really would like it to be quite snappy, the movie. But if you wanted to make it more moody, to set up the atmosphere, yeah, it would go to 7 minutes. But we will see that also in the next phases.
The horror movie needs to have a space to be scared.
No, the script also has the end punchline that delivers the whole horrorness. We also have the scene with the sister that sets up the whole atmosphere, but the punchline at the end is the one that brings up the whole story.
So you immediately find this ending, or you had different?
Oh, we had, this is like the third ending, and I would like to thank our trainers that they really helped us develop this ending. We had several. So this is,
For example?
the Tooth Fairy is the last one that we developed. The other one was, she was cursed, and there was a tooth demon, so like the opposite, who appeared there. And we also thought of another ending where the priest, so then we go a little bit deeper in the story. When he cleans up the church, the graveyard near the church, he sees the last priest who served that church, and he sees a big grave of that priest, and he robs those teeth. And another ending was with the priest sitting behind him, the zombie priest, and cursing him because he took his teeth. So there were these two other alternative endings. But we thought that the Tooth Fairy is the best ending because everybody has a very cute image about this character. Nobody thinks of the Tooth Fairy that she might punish somebody. So, and also it really helps in the beginning because you see the message from the Tooth Fairy and you think that it's the mother who put the message there because that's what you normally think. But in the end, when you see that you had dead man's teeth under the pillow and then no teeth at all, and the message again from the Tooth Fairy, then you think about it. The Tooth Fairy punishes the kids, so I think it's an interesting element that we did have. Just a narrative.
Ah, you have a narrative.
Yeah, I didn't put all the team. We have also people who help us with the post-production, but it was quite early, and to brag on that, we have a person help us with the sound and the music, and also have the actor for narrative. It's quite early to brag that we have that team too, but those people, we know that we can contact them at any time when we finish that part. And we'll go to them, Alex Vicol, the person who has helped us with the sound in all our short movies, is always there for us. He also composes music for our other movies of ours, so...
And if you already know, you have an idea of the budget for this?
Right now we have an intermediate budget, so we have all the cost lines, but we don't have cost estimations because we're trying to barter them all. For example, the camera, we'll get them from some friends, the lights also, the studio, again, we're trying to barter.
Even so you have to know how much it's worth. Because this is the question everybody in the serious animation business will ask you, what is your budget? There are people who are only business oriented, and for them a certain amount of money for a certain amount of means it's a project I want to be involved with. It's another way of thinking, but also it's good for you to know how much does it cost something that it doesn't cost nothing. It costs something
We talked internally that this would be a great step because we like the idea and we also like to pitch it at the same time we're producing it, and it's mandatory.
Now, you didn't answer the question, what is the budget?
We don't have an estimate because we're bartering everything. Like the camera is, we talk to a friend, the lights already, so everything we're trying to get it for free. So we know what we need, but we're trying, and we have some budget left from other projects, and when it's going to come to a certain supplier that will say we're not going to barter this, we need money, so that's when we're going to use money. But the question is good because we are really needing the budget because we are starting to pitching it to several producers. So
You don't have storage.
we are developing the storage right now. So this is the phase in which we are in.
How long do you know before? Will be teaching?
No, this is the first pitch.
No, when you now
When did we start the story?
you understood that you come today,
Yeah.
this is pitch.
One,
Months ago, 1 day ago,
I don't know, 2 weeks. I don't know, 2 weeks ago.
I did my photo.
To be honest, we had a bit of problem with the team. So the team is quite recent because our last DOP quit the project for several reasons. We also had the person who could build miniatures, and he's Romanian, so he emigrated it. So the team is quite fresh. So I just had time to assemble the team and start all over again. So this is the second team on the project. So we hope that this is the final team and we can move forward.
how many G's you have to sell?
I have my wisdom teeth already pulled, so I have 4, so that's a good start.
Great. Just one moment that you had already the puppets from like the other puppets, but the principal hero and the boy, you have just sketched drawings from the back. So it would be nice to have something like more about him, just for the future.
Yes.
To see him more, because it will give over like feeling about it. Because it's everything about him. He is witty, boy, and he has to be a touchable character for the producer.
Yes. Thank you.
Could I have some thoughts for the story? Because I think the end right now seems a little bit not like an end, but more like a climax. Like maybe this is the biggest thing happened to him, and also like there is a dream, like because we want to be rich, but at the end we never reached his dream. Is there any like answers for maybe because I think for me when I'm listening to the story, I thought about in the end we will giving up for like his dream, or maybe he will change, like his mind will change because this is the goal we were setting up in the beginning, and then nothing happens with about the goal in the end. I don't know.
If you think about it, he was punished. So So for his deeds, the Tooth Fairy thought that it was cheating the rules. So if you cheat the rules, the Tooth Fairy will come and she will punish you somehow. So this is the universe we created, where the Tooth Fairy gives you money and also punishes you. So, yes.
Yes, I have to agree with her. I feel that the Tooth Fairy is not introduced as a character, so her motivations are unknown to the viewer. Because, like you said, the first thoughts is that the mother left the money. So we didn't know what's the motivation of the Tooth Fairy to curse the boy. So I feel like you should introduce that character somehow, not necessarily showing the character, but show that it's magical and that she doesn't play around and it's serious business, and if you cheat, you get punished. I mean,
Our plan is that we'll have a close-up when he takes the pillow, and you'll see the postcard from the Tooth Fairy. So first time you see it at the beginning, you think that it's the parents, and you'll see it again in the second time. So basically, it will be a testing that that character exists, and the second time, yeah, we want to keep it that you don't see the Tooth Fairy, and you want to keep it the idea that the Tooth Fairy is something that the parents do.
so it might be confusing in the end. We might think still that it's the mother.
Yeah, but that's why it's we want a bit of confusion there for our audience, because if you introduce the Tooth Fairy, you already know that somebody is gonna do something about what he's doing.
About this Tooth Fairy, does this person have it?
Excuse me?
Fairy,
Yeah.
have it?
The Tooth Fairy has. I haven't thought about it.
Maybe it's good to suffer. Maybe this is a good ending to life. Taking this from very advisable back after damage until getting good food.
Maybe he digs a golden thief in a graveyard, so
You can make a series out of it if you want. The next episode, he's gonna dig for some gold, he's gonna fight with the Tooth Fairy.
Well, there is a local Romanian playwright at Untitled who wrote about people who stole the teeth from people who were dead in the trenches. So somebody already knew something about that.
Okay, thank you, Horia. With Horia, we have no more problems in the family. We're okay. We're going a bit into the future with The Fisherman by Isabela Pipica.
My name is Pipica Isabela and I have 20 years old, and I'm currently at the University of Theatre and Cinematography in Karagali. I started to study animation since high school and I never stopped since then. I usually manage to draw frequently and post on my social media under the pseudonym of Pigilar. Today I'm going to present you my project. The concept for this started from my sister, and she lent it to me to make it into something bigger. The title is The Fisherman. The genres of this animation is drama, action, and a little fun. The animation is addressing special to the teenagers because they can connect better to the main character, being himself a teenager. The emotions that the character is going through could be related also to all the kind of ages because it's talking about loneliness and human connection. The story background is about exaggeration of global warming and excessive pollution, leading to a big turnout events. The glaciers are melting and the earth is covered by water, but it can be seen because of the plastic and other garbages that the floating of the surface of the water. before that happened, some people managed to build very high houses to prevent the flow and course of extinction of the human race, but not very much population survived from the impact. I just thought about climate change because it's a very big problem nowadays, and I think the impact of the message and the emotion that an animation can deliver will be strong. My short story is about the 16-year-old boy who lives in a suspended house from which he never descended. He is the only survivor in the city. It is not known why he is there. All you can see is that his daily activity is fishing, but all that he can collect are objects. One morning, after laying his weight on the water, he sits on his back and sleeps quietly. A noise suddenly awakes him. He's scared because he knows that he's no one around for years. A large and thick hand appears on his balcony, and in front of him rides an old man that he never seen before. The boy needs a lot of convincing power to get the old man to take him on his boat, finally managing to leave that place for the first time and to start a new adventure in an unknown world. The technique I used to choose is traditional 2D, and I'm gonna make backgrounds in Photoshop, and I'm gonna animate in 3D. This is an animation that I'm working for a bachelor exam. I gathered a small group of people who will help me with animating music and the sound. Also, this is a TV series, thinking of a TV series. That's why he is very detailed. Yeah. The reason why I chose to present this project today in front of you is because it helped me a lot to receive feedback from professional people, and I also wanted to gather experience. For now, I'm looking for collaboration and also working for networking. Thank you.
Next story comes from Moldova, because the project has also Romania and Moldova, Republic of Moldova. And I would like to invite Oleg Kondra with Time Garden.
Once again, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Horia Cucuta. I always dreamed to be a cartoonist and an animator, and somehow I got in a law school, where I was basically spending all my time drawing and planning my escape. Eventually, somehow, I ended in animation industry, let's call it like that. And since then, I was working on many commercial and non-commercial projects where I had a position as a storyboard artist, art director, and animator. Eventually, with experience, I got into directing and writing short animations. Also, I had some experience in VR, AR, stop motion, and 2D. I even did video DJing for nightclubs, and that's a very bad place for an introvert like me. Well, what do I do right now? Right now I'm writing and directing on Time Guardians, and I'm extremely thrilled and happy to be part of this project, and it is planned to be for a younger audience of from 6 to 11 years old. And it's a comedy short film that is in a character-driven milieu. For a long time, I had an idea stuck in my mind, and I was always asking myself, what if time travelers live among us? Where are they living? And it's not like they could steal an apartment and tie up the owner in the chair and pretend to be friends with him and live forever after. Well, that's exactly how it happens. And the story begins in a very unusual place. I call it, it's a very hard word. Social isolation, yeah. It happens in a world where social isolation is a really big problem, and people can't take their eyes from phones and from any devices, basically. So our heroes travel from let's say it like that. We have a group of main heroes, very reckless, anthropomorphic kids who travel back in time in order to find shelter from the oppressive and dystopian future. And they find harmony and peace in the most chaotic century where we live right now, 21st century. And we really like to focus on the D character, that's her name. She's an insect girl who has big dreams and also leadership qualities, but she had a little problem with her ego and self-aware. Together, she and her friend Bubblegum, who is actually a robot built by her, and with the help of their reckless and wild card companion Marcus, who is a very intellectual and self-aware cat. Together, they plan to find the source of wireless food. But destiny, or maybe hunger, propels them really quick into a plot where they find themselves in crime. Where this crime is in the form of a stolen pizza paper. And after they pass the line between the good and evil, they have to face sorts of challenges where they not only have to clean their name, also face the new enemy named Officer Kowalski, who is extremely eager to catch them and punish them for not obeying the law. And for his personal reason, he wants to revenge because they broke his partner's finger. Shortly about us as a production company. Company is a big name, we're really small. I would say we have a script and it's planned to be finished in 2 weeks. It's planned to be a short film of the length of 30 minutes in English for an audience of 6 to 11. We, in previous projects, we worked with a couple of voice actors from United States, and we record everything during this Skype call, and we try to somehow cover each other's lines as if everyone is in the same booth and we talk at the same time. And in conclusion, I hope as Time Guardians we could plan our meetings not only today but also in the future. Thank you.
Sorry, so it is short. It's short video.
Yes, I forgot to mention that we plan to use this short for setting up the future series, and the most important, I forgot to say, we are looking for financial support and distribution, and we plan to finish our application in a period of 8 months.
Application for?
We plan to apply on many pitch sessions and contact everyone. I don't want to say everyone we want, but we need to make in these 8 months a strategy where do we go and what kind of documents we present before we ask for financial support.
Will you apply for the Moldavian Film Fund?
Yes, we already have 2 projects funded by them, and we're currently in post-production. And that's why we need those 8 months to finish the previous project and start this one.
You are the director of the project?
Yes.
Who's the producer?
Vitaly Popov. We together are co-founders of Fish House Productions in Republic of Moldova.
So, in fact, it's 13 minutes
Yes.
pilot for future series for development. Is it?
Yes.
You think you will stay with this style of the main characters, or you plan to change?
Yes, I am very eager to change, but the main shapes are gonna stay the same because they were kinda in this direction of like simple shapes, and this is not the best example. I think you're back to this one.
But still, I think there is a difference between the backgrounds and the characters, and we see that the police is drawn in one style, the main character is another, and the background is again the new style. So it's just for you to be aware of this.
Yeah, I'm very happy for this feedback, and I also agree because we're in the early development and we are really focusing to make the story work, and also in time we will cover the production.
I think the future target, well, the picture you had with the phones, you know, yeah, so I mean, could you show it?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, that was the best one. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, look, your background here is different, and it suits more to the characters. So it's this picture is in one style, so there is no problem.
Yes, thank you.
Just for you. So it's always drawn by you.
Yes.
So if you are lucky and you get money and you make this first, then you will start with selling.
Yes.
What will be your speed for one part?
Speed of
Speed.
production.
30 minutes, how many months?
This is a very good question because we encountered this problem with, I don't want to use problem, but I use it, with our previous 2 shorts. And we don't want to produce the entire season. We only want to create a pilot and sell the IP. In case there is an interest for a future season.
So we will sell it.
Yes, because in different, for example, in Kiev, when I was the last year, it was extremely difficult to compete with the speed, for example, of Koreans. They produce 38 episodes in 1 year, when I, together with my small team, produce 1 pilot in 1 year. So there's no chance, I don't know, chance, there's no reason to produce an entire season.
Yeah. So you probably will cooperate with Ukrainians.
We're hoping to, in September, they have a new animation sales market, and we're planning to go. And also, in those 8 months, we plan to go to Nipa.
It's very hard to say sell IP. So it's better to develop it and find somebody who will finance your IP and who has the possibility to produce this quantity of episodes you plan to do. That's my advice,
I think you understand it, right? IP,
it was,
intellectual property.
yeah, I understand, but the question is, if I understand...
No, it was a
No,
suggestion.
It was a suggestion, a thought that it's very hard to sell the IP.
Yeah, I understand. I had the same feedback from Rita Street. She sold, she produced like 2,000 pitch books and she sold only 15. And this is a very hard game and business, and I'm at least willing to try it. I'm not. Thank you.
Yes, is your title a working title? And if not, it's the final title. Why Time Guardians? How they guard the time? Because it looks like they're just living in the present, not in our present.
Exactly. With the series, we will have a plot where eventually they become the time police officers, and that's the responsibility that a bunch of kids they don't want to carry. And when the kid doesn't want something, there's a really nice plot revolving different settings, time periods, and all sorts of problems.
About partnerships and but what are things that apart from selling the huge to other things, and what does that
we find ourselves as a very flexible studio because we are also looking for co-production, and even we try to find as more people as we can involved. We recently opened a writing room and sort of a program where we teach young students to draw backgrounds and to somehow grow into bigger and bigger production.
You have a good idea but it needs development.
Yes.
Good luck.
Yeah.
And this is your
This is the story. This is if you go on a pitch somewhere on internationally, nobody will buy the later one. This, if you develop this one as a disease or you know, in a funny way, people will buy it, you know, because this is really reality, and this is something which people will enjoy, and you can make it really funny, and you have a talent and sense for humor. So maybe my opinion or my advice is developed in this way, you know.
Thank you. I really appreciate the advice, and for that I can open to an idea that those characters, they influence this world, that sequence that you said, and the robot has some sort of a magnetic field that disconnects them from the devices, and this is the way where they connect to the world like for the first time, and it's also interesting to see people, how they forgot what is humanity, and they learn it from a robot.
I just wanted to say that I like Officer Kowalski. When you talked about him, I immediately thought about how it's more of a suggestion. So I just wanted to say that I remember him and I like him. You mentioned that if he wants to catch these kids, which I presume are good kids, even though they kidnap people.
No, they stole the pizza bagel.
They stole a pizza bagel and they keep the landlord in the chair.
Well, I don't find it so bad, but pizza bagel.
Yeah. Kowalski, I think it's interesting, especially in our times and in our parts of the world, that this one person, Officer Kowalski, wants to hold the law, no matter if that law is good or bad to the great.
Yeah, I understand. That's a good idea for a plot.
Always in cartoons, the good guys do whatever they want, regardless of the law, and they get away with it because it's accepted, right? It's tolerated to break the law. So I think that's pretty interesting.
I have a comment as well. I think you have a lot of great ideas per general, but as a pitch, it's sometimes a little bit confusing because I feel that you're very eager to share the ideas and you thought out a whole season, but sometimes like the audience, myself, I'm talking about myself, I don't know what part of the story to connect. It's either the disease you're talking about, it's either the time guardians part when you say that they find themselves in different situation, is the classic TV show with how do you say TV show between Kowalski and them, they're being chased by that police officer. So there are a lot of ideas, but I think in the future I have just to present one main idea and sell that idea. Other than that, it's amazing.